Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astrogat Mysore. Today, let us start a new chapter, that is to understand the results of Jupiter when it is placed from the first house onwards. So, first house, I very clearly mean that it is close to the ascendant, that is within 15 degrees from the ascendant point on either side. So, let us take a very simple method to understand the first house. So I have done the video of bhavas and rashis and bhavas, in which when you can clearly understand what is the zodiac sign and what is the first house, because the ascendant will be placed, let us say, at 27 degrees in, for example, I will take Taurus. So 27 degrees of Taurus is the midpoint of the first house. So if I take the starting point of the first house, then I will have to deduct 15 degrees from 27, that will be 12 degrees. So 12 degrees of Taurus is the starting point, and after that comes the midpoint at 27 degrees, and 12 degrees of Gemini would be the ending point of the first house. So if I tell Jupiter in the first house, please see the Bhava Chalit chart, or you make the calculation as to from the ascendant, it should be either within 15 degrees on either side, whether on the left side or on the right side of the ascendant. Jupiter should be within that particular point. The more nearer to the ascendant midpoint, that is the ascendant point, the more the strong the results what I tell now. So we all know that Jupiter is a planet which has to be seen for many major aspects of life. One very major aspect of this Kali Yuga is to under Kali Yuga is the Yuga what we are going through now, which is actually ruled by the Lord Kali. So Kali Yuga, Jupiter is so important because it represents comfortability, health, it represents good dhanya, that is good vegetation, good crops, good harvest, and it also represents the financial situation of a country. So individually also it will represent the health of a person, the mental health, that is the wisdom of a person, and it represents many other things like financial growth, like children, because it is putra karaka and so on, because it's also the natural dhanakaraka. It is the second karaka for the second house. So sitting in the second house, it will make you wealthy, no doubt. But let us understand what happens when it sits on the head, that is the lagna. There are some characteristics of Jupiter which I have taken, which I will mix with the characteristics of the first house. The first house is body, self, ego, myself, self centeredness, my identity, the responsibility I have towards my family, my duty towards my family, and the physical part, the head. Okay, and on this, when Jupiter is placed, which actually is slow moving, sometimes falls into lethargy, sometimes thinks a lot before taking any decision. So, an action is not immediate because Jupiter always thinks before suddenly jumping into any conclusions. So, they are very wise, having good wisdom. Jupiter gives lot of paragnana. Paragnana is earthly knowledge, the knowledge which is theoretical knowledge, not a practical knowledge like Venus. So Jupiter gives theoretical knowledge which is useful for day to day, decision making. So they are very good judges. So Jupiter sitting in the first house will aspect the fifth, the seventh, and the ninth houses from that particular place. So Karaka, the Karaka for children sitting in the Lagna, aspecting the fifth house. Obviously, the person who has Jupiter in the ascendant will have good children. Having good progeny is a blessing. Having a bad progeny is as good as going through hell. So you know this. So if you have good children who don't give you much trouble, that means you are in heaven. You are blessed. Not having children is a different aspect. You can be happier than anybody else. But if you have children, you will be like thinking, yaar, kya hoga? What will happen? Whether I will get good children or whether I will get people, born to me who will, become my biggest headache. So Jupiter in the ascendant, they will have good, nice, well-behaved children. So it's not a guarantee, but you need to see the other aspects. But still, when Jupiter is there in the Lagna, it will take care of the fifth house and the seventh house and the ninth house. That is the first child, the second child, and the third child. Fantastic position. So Jupiter's Jupiter being in the Lagna doesn't mean it always will be benefic for the person. So Jupiter can also be a malefic for that particular Lagna, that ascendant. It can be the sixth lord, it can be the eighth lord, it can be the 12th lord sitting in the ascendant. So you should understand that there will be a mixed kind of a result because it owns two Rashis. One is the Dhanur Rashi, the Sagittarius, the other Rashi is Pisces, the Meena Rashi. So, for example, for Vrishchika Lagna, that is for Scorpio, Jupiter becomes the Dhanakaraka, Dhanasthanadipati, that is the Karaka for wealth, signifier for wealth, and also the second lord. Fantastic. It becomes the fifth lord as being the lord of Pisces and also the Karaka for children. Very good. So, it becomes a very good planet for Vrishchika. But on the other hand, if I take Vrishabha Rashi, that is for Venus, that then for Taurus, that is Vrishabha Rashi is Taurus, you can see that Jupiter is the 8th and the 11th lord, which is a malefic. So it depends as to which is the lordship. So I will be doing another set of series where I will be taking each and every ascendant and then take the planetary positions. Like for example, I will be taking for Taurus if Jupiter is in Lagna, for Taurus if Jupiter is in the fifth house, and for Taurus if Jupiter is in the eighth house, what will happen? So it's a huge understanding. You need to go through each and every class if you want to become a good astrologer. Please take down the notes, read it properly, and then only go ahead. You have to keep a lot of things in your mind, and you should not get bogged down by so much of theoretical knowledge. But still, if you have to become perfect in your predictions, you need to have them clearly sorted out. This is a very important factor. Okay, do not unnecessarily apply the general predictions to every Lagna. Don't do that. This is a tendency and this is a general prediction. Obesity and looking healthy is one of the Jupiter's behavior when it is sitting in the Lagna. It makes the person, have a good look. They will be very stable. I have made some points, so I'm just making out and reading it out. I'll explain each point one by one. So they will look good because Jupiter always looks very divine and godly. They will be very responsible in their, work and even in their speech. The only thing which happens when Jupiter is in the Lagna and it is a little weak is that these people tend to give free advice, which nobody wants to hear. If Jupiter is weak and the Lagnadipati is weak, then these people tend to give free advice which simply falls to deaf ears. So, people who have weak Jupiter, please keep quiet. Unnecessarily do not talk when it is not required. So, these people can become very good judges, financial advisors, and consultants. So, particularly, they can be very good chartered accountants, accountants, bankers. They can be very good businessmen, professors, very good teachers. They can teach like anything. Excellent teachers. They know the concept. Theory. They are very good at theory, theoretical knowledge, and philosophies. They are very good philosophers. So we need to have good Jupiter Lagna people come into education, field of education. They can do wonders. So they can also be head of religious institutions like seers and pontiffs. So they do a very good job in giving sermons, preaching and teaching. They are very good at it. So they also can go into business with large industries, large transportation, big cargo vehicles and doing wholesale business. These are all good aspects for people with Jupiter in the ascendant. As it aspects the fifth house, and as it aspects the fifth house in its fifth aspect, these people can do very well in their further studies, higher studies. You can understand Jupiter's fifth aspect is for studies, Jupiter's ninth aspect is for research and going under a guru, Jupiter's seventh aspect is for business and travel. All these three are there for these people, so they are good at it. So socially they are aware and they respond to difficult situations of other people. So it's not that they are only selfish and they want to do only things for themselves, but they are there for them. For these people, everyone in the society is to be helped and they want to take care of them. So it's a good thing that they spend a lot of time. Sometimes this also becomes a difficulty for the family because the wife expects the husband, or the husband expects the wife to spend some time with them. So the problem is that these people tend to spend more time with friends, with the society, with this meeting, with that group, with this association, and finally the family life will become very less, and that would be another problem. This is another negative situation when Jupiter is sitting in the Lagna. Their concept of a family is not restricted just to 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is me, my wife, and two children. So Jupiter does not restrict. They are not selfish people. So it's a beautiful planet, which is a planet which actually includes, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. They want everyone to be with them. They want the whole society to be like a family, to be there, to help, to be into religious functions, because these people are religious. They are very obedient, very timid, very pious, and they respect elders. They respect the traditional things which are followed in the family. They respect their family customs. So customs and traditions, they love it. I'm not talking about a retro Jupiter, mind it. So please do not apply anything of what I said now to retro Jupiters. Jupiter in the Lagna, retro. So please, because I will be doing another whole set of series for all planets which are retro and their positions in respective ascendants. So this is a huge thing which we are trying to impart. I am trying to give out. This is a series of classes. So as much as I can in my lifetime, let me do this. So Jupiter in the Lagna, the sun, if the sun, S-O-N, son, that is a son of a family has this, he will have very good stature in the family. They will respect him because he will be a good person, he will be responsible, and he will take care of all the elders as his own parents. So this, we always keep trying to tell that if there is going to be a person on earth, it should be like him. So he'll be a role model for many people. But the problem is that other children will start hating these people because he has taken the icing. He's sitting on the top run. So they will start becoming a little alone in their younger age. But these people want to associate themselves with the elders more rather than sitting with the youngsters and wasting time. So these people mature very fast in their life. So youngsters will start acting like teenagers, and when they are in the teenage, they will be acting like as though they are in the middle age, that is in their 40s. So their thinking ability is too ahead. So they are very stable, very responsible. They can take a lot of load on their head. So they will actually include their extended family like uncles and aunts, all of them, they include them, they bring them together, they take care of them. They will spend a lot of money and their time to take care of this family. So they will also see that this family will have a congregation. They will have these people are very good at event management, excellent event managers. So the problems what they would you can expect, health problems would be of diabetes, the gout, the urinary tract infections, the kidney problems, and other dysfunctions of hormones, depending on the other planetary positions. But people who are having Jupiter in the ascendant, the only mantra for these people is get up early and go for a walk. Keep yourself brisk and warm. Do not unnecessarily eat things, because Jupiter in the Lagna will always start craving for food. They get hunger. So the hunger pangs, for they will really, you should not relieve your hunger pangs by eating too much of sugary items, like chocolates, like too much of burnt sugar, like caramel. Please try to restrict yourself from sugar. The faster you leave sugar, the better you are. So God bless. I hope I have covered a lot of subject with regard to Jupiter. These are the main points which I would want to cover. There are many other points which actually work out for Jupiter people, but Jupiter in the Lagna, people will take a lot of responsibility. They will not feel that they are taking the responsibility or the burden. They will not take the responsibility as a burden. Burden is a onus on your head. So these people take responsibility wholesome. They love it. They want to do it. They can't be left out. If there is a marriage function, these people want to go there and work in the family. So it's a very strong placement for Jupiter. Hope many of them have good, beneficial Jupiter in the Lagna, and they would have enjoyed this in their family life. Thank you very much.